Hello students, good morning everyone. So this video we are going to discuss the collision theory. Collision theory is one of the most important topic in chemical kinetics of class 12. Now collision theory, theories of reaction rates. Under the theories of reaction rates, we discuss two theories. One is collision theory, the second one is transition state theory. Transition state theory is that much not important and not given in our state book, so we are not going to discuss the transition state theory. We mainly focus on collision theory. Let us see the collision theory. Collision theory, it was proposed by Arrhenius. You all are familiar to Arrhenius because Arrhenius gave Arrhenius acid base theory. So it was proposed by Arrhenius, but it was developed by Max Strauss and William Lewis. Combiningly, they both developed the theory that was proposed by Arrhenius. So finally, collision theory was finally developed by the Max Strauss and William Lewis. Let us see the postulates. What are the postulates of this collision theory? See, according to the collision theory, all the chemical reactions takes place by the collisions between the reacting gaseous molecules. So if there was no collisions between the reactant gaseous molecules, there was no product formation. Okay, so that means there was no chemical reaction. So all, according to them, the first postulate, all the chemical reactions takes place by the collision between reactant gaseous molecules. Because of the collisions between the reactant gaseous molecules, all the chemical reactions takes place. And one more thing, this collision theory is based on kinetic molecular theory. So very important. Collision theory is based on kinetic molecular theory that we already discussed in the states of matter of class 11. Okay, so all the chemical reactions takes place by the collisions between the reactant gaseous molecules. So according to this statement, rate of the reaction is directly proportional to number of collisions in unit volume in unit second or unit time. So within unit volume in unit time, whatever the collisions, so this is called collision rate, also called collision frequency. Okay, the number of collisions made within the unit volume within a unit time is called what? Collision frequency or collision rate. Here, rate of the reaction is directly proportional to collision rate or collision frequency. Okay, now this collision rate, since this collision rate is directly proportional to concentrations of reactants, but this collision rate is directly proportional to the concentrations of the reactants. Just imagine, if the reactants concentration is less, then the reactant molecules are very less within the unit volume. If the reactant molecules are less, then the collisions between them will be less. For example, if you take the high concentrated solution, the number of molecules within unit volume will be more. If molecules are more, then the collisions between the molecules will be usually high. So this collision rate or collision frequency is directly proportional to the concentrations of the reactants. So for example, if you take the reaction A2 plus B2 gives rise to 2AB. That is the chemical reaction I have taken. Let us see. So according to them, collision frequency or collision rate is directly proportional to what are the reactants A2 and B2. So concentration of A2 into concentrations of B2. So then collision rate is equal to, collision rate generally we represent with a capital Z. It is equal to, if you remove this proportionality constant K prime or Z prime you keep, into concentration of A2 into concentration of B2. Okay, so this is the first postulate. According to the first postulate, all the chemical reactions takes place by the collisions between the reactant gaseous molecules. So the rate of the reaction is directly proportional to number of collisions made within unit volume in unit time. So that is directly proportional to the concentrations of the reactants. Finally, this is the conclusion. Then what is the second postulate of this collision theory? See, according to the first postulate, rate is directly proportional to the number of collisions. But is all the collisions leads to the product formation? No. So according to the second postulate, all the collisions does not leads to product formation. All the collisions does not leads to the product formation. Only fruitful collisions. Only fruitful collisions leads to product formation. Only fruitful collisions leads to product formation. All the collisions does not leads to the product formation. Only fruitful collisions. You may get that. What are fruitful collisions? So fruitful collisions are nothing but the collisions between the molecules which are having minimum amount of energy. Then that collisions we call it as what? Fruitful collisions. See, fruitful collisions are nothing but the collisions between molecules, collisions between the molecules having certain minimum amount of energy. These molecules are having certain minimum amount of energy. These collisions we call it as what? Fruitful collisions. Okay, see, in order to be a fruitful collision, these colliding molecules are having certain minimum amount of energy, that must having this minimum amount of energy, and that minimum amount of energy required to convert the reactants into products, that energy we call it as what? Threshold energy. Okay, so the minimum amount of energy must have to convert reactants into products. The minimum amount of energy must have by the colliding molecules to convert the reactants into products. This minimum energy we call it as what we call threshold energy. Threshold energy, we represent this with the ET. ET stands for threshold energy. This is the energy required, minimum amount of energy required to convert the reactants into products. And the energy which was possessed by the molecules at normal STP conditions, that energy we called as what? Normal energy, also called average kinetic energy, also called internal energy. The energy possessed by the molecules at STP conditions is called normal energy, also called internal energy, and this is also called average kinetic energy. Then what is activation energy? So activation energy is nothing but threshold energy, means the energy required to convert reactants into products. And normal energy means the energy that was possessed by the molecules at STP conditions. So activation energy is nothing but the energy that must be gained by the colliding molecules to convert the reactants into products. Okay, so after the gaining of this activation energy, the reactants are converting into products. Okay, so the energy must gain by colliding molecules to convert reactants into products. So this is one kind of definition. RS. Activation energy is nothing but the difference between threshold energy to the normal energy. So also we can define it as activation energy EA. Activation energy I am representing with EA. It is nothing but it's the difference between threshold energy to the normal energy. So ET minus normal energy EN. Okay, or else average kinetic energy na. So EAV, average energy. So this is the difference between the threshold energy to the average kinetic energy. This energy we call it as activation energy. Okay, so what is the relation to the rate of the reaction and activation energy? In general, the reactions which are having less activation energy, their rate of reaction is high. So the reactions which are having high activation energy, their rate of the reaction is less. Just to give you a small example, there was two classrooms. Between the those two classrooms are partitioned by a small wall. Okay, just imagine there was a small wall partitioning the two classrooms. Suppose if the height of the wall is less, so then more number of the students can jump from one classroom to another classroom. Suppose if the height of the wall is high, very few members only can jump. Those who are having high energy can jump easily, okay, from one classroom to another classroom. So if the height increases, if the height of the wall increases, the number of students jumping from one classroom to another classroom decreases. Okay, if the height decreases, more number can jump. So this height is nothing but the height of the wall is nothing but threshold energy or activation energy. So this height of the wall is nothing but activation energy. So activation energy increases, then number of reactants converting into products is less. If the activation energy decreases, more number of reactants can easily converting into products. So they both are what? Inversely proportional. This activation energy concept you can easily understand by using the graph. See that here I am drawing the graph between potential energy versus any reaction coordinate. Potential energy versus reaction coordinates. See, this is the energy of reactants and this is the energy of the products. The reaction is going on like this. This is a graph which represents the reaction mechanism. Now, here this is the energy that must possess by the reactants to convert into products. So this energy, the minimum amount of energy required to convert the reactants into products. So this energy what we call threshold energy. So what is threshold energy? The minimum amount of energy required to convert the reactants into products is called what? Threshold energy. And this is the energy which was possessed by the reactants and products at STP. So this is the internal energy of the reactants and these are the internal energy of the products. Now what is the activation energy? It is the difference between the threshold energy to the normal energy. So this is the threshold energy and this is the normal energy. This difference we call it as what? Activation energy. Okay, so activation energy is nothing but the difference between the threshold energy to the normal energy. This difference we call it as what? Activation energy. See, conversion of reactants into products is called forward reaction. So this is the activation energy of forward. So EAF. Activation energy of forward I am representing as EAF. Now conversion of products into reactants, backward reaction. So this is the activation energy for backward reaction. So EAB. So this is EAF and this is what? EAB. So in this case, see in this reaction, tell me which is larger, EAF or EAB? EAB is larger than EAF. So if EAF, activation energy of forward, is less than activation energy of backward, then that reactions are exothermic. Then the reactions are what? Exothermic. So this graph represents which reaction? Exothermic reactions. Whether it is an exothermic or endothermic, whatever it may be, the change in enthalpy, del H value. How to calculate the del H value? Remember that if they give you activation energies, by using this formula you can calculate the delta H value, change in enthalpy. What is that? It's a difference between activation energy of forward to the backward. The difference between the activation energies of forward to the backward, this formula used to calculate what? Del H, change in enthalpy. Now tell me, in this case, EAF value is lesser than EAB value. That means here del H value, lower value minus higher value. Lower value minus higher value always gives negative value. That is why here del H value was negative. If del H value was negative, what we call that reaction? Exothermic reactions. Clear? Next move to endothermic. If you see the graph of endothermic, so this is what? Threshold energy, and this is activation energy of forward, and this is activation energy of backward. Now tell me, in this graph, EAF is greater than EAB. Okay, so if EAF is greater than EAB, then del H value is a higher. It's nothing but the difference between forward reaction to the backward, the activation energy of forward to the backward. EAF value greater than EAB. That means higher value minus lower value, it's always be positive. If del H value is positive, then the reaction is what? Endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction. Okay, so this is the relation between the nature of the reaction by using the activation energies of forward and backward. And I told you the rate of the reaction. The rate of reaction is inversely proportional to activation energies. Activation energies. So if the activation energy is less, rate of reaction is more. For example, you take this exothermic reaction. In this exothermic reaction, EAF value is less. If EAF value is lesser, then the rate of forward reaction is higher. So in case of exothermic reaction, which reaction is favorable? See, in case of exothermic reaction, forward reaction is favorable. Why? Why? Because activation energy of forward is lesser than backward. If the activation energy of forward is lesser, okay, if the activation energy is lesser, then its rate of reaction will be higher. That is why, because of lesser activation energy of forward reaction, the rate of forward reaction is favorable. In this case, in case of endothermic, activation energy of backward reactions is lesser. So the rate of backward reaction is higher in case of endothermic reactions. The fraction of molecules having certain minimum amount of energy, that is called what? Threshold energy. And that fraction of molecules was given by Arrhenius. That is what? Frequency factor. So frequency factor. That is as F. It was given by Arrhenius, that is F is nothing but F is equal to e power exponential of activation energy by RT. By using this formula, we can calculate the fraction of molecules which are having certain minimum amount of energy. So all the collisions does not lead to the product formation, only the collisions between the molecules having certain minimum amount of energy only can lead to the product formation, and that fraction can give by this formula, F is equal to e power minus Ea by RT. And one more thing, this fraction, this frequency factor, this fraction further reduce. Okay, for example, just imagine total 100 molecules are there. If 100 molecules are there, then the number of collisions will be 100. Mutual collide with each other, 100. So is all collisions leads to the product formation? No. So out of 100, let us consider 10 molecules, 10 colliding molecules are fruitful collisions having minimum amount of energy. So out of 100, 10 are fruitful collisions. Even that 10 colliding molecules, even that 10 collisions also does not lead to the product formation. So this fraction is a further reduce based on their orientation. Here we need to consider orientation factor. Orientation factor. So what is the orientation factor or a steric factor? So this orientation factor also we call it as what? Steric factor. Only the molecules which are having certain minimum amount of energy and colliding in a proper orientation leads to the product formation. So in order to convert the reactants into products, not only the collision need, not only that fraction, okay, having minimum amount of energy, okay, in addition to that, their colliding, this collision should be proper orientation. So this is called what? Orientation factor. What is the orientation factor? So it is nothing but the fraction of molecules, having certain minimum amount of energy colliding in proper orientation leads to the product formation. So that factor we call it as what? Orientation factor. Now generally orientations are of two types. One is a proper orientation. Orientation is nothing but direction. Proper orientation. Next one, improper orientation. Improper orientation. Always proper orientation leads to the product formation. Okay, so proper orientation, if the direction is proper, then always they leads to the product formation. But improper orientation does not lead to the product formation. So you should know what is a proper and improper orientation. I will explain this by taking an example. Already taken A2 plus B2 gives rise to 2AB. See here I am taking, this is A2 molecule. And next one, B2 molecule. A2 plus B2. Now this is what? Proper. So there, see, this molecule is coming in this direction. This molecule is coming in this direction. So here the collision will be A, B, B. So this is what? Proper orientation or effective collision. So after the collision, they lead to the product. This is one product. This is another product. AB. Okay, here AB formation takes place because of proper orientation. For example, this is what? Proper orientation. Improper. See, now A2 molecule is coming in this direction and B2 molecule is coming in this direction. Okay, see, when these two, this is what? Improper. When these two molecules are colliding in this direction, what happens? They will collide. A, B, B. After the collision, they bounce back. Why? Because only only one AB molecules only colliding, not two molecules. Only once they are colliding. But here, this AB, two mutual collisions are there, but here only one. So when the A2 colliding with B2, they bounce back. Okay, they are bouncing back, and again the same reactants are coming out. Okay, there was no products. Reactants are coming out as same. So here there was no product formation. So this is improper and ineffective collisions. Ineffective collisions. Understood? So this is a proper orientation. This is an improper orientation. So in order to convert the reactants into products, not only the collisions between the colliding molecules, along with the collisions, that molecule should have minimum amount of energy, and also their orientation should be proper. Then only the reactants are converting into products. From the all above postulates, finally he given Arrhenius, means Trout and William Lewis, they both given the rate of the reaction. Rate is equal to, rate is nothing but collision rate, we represent with the Z, collision rate into fraction, frequency factor, into orientation factor P. Orientation factor P. So rate is nothing but P into F into Z. So rate is nothing but P, we know what is P, orientation factor, and F we told you F is nothing but e power minus EA by RT. So substitute e power minus EA by RT into Z is nothing but collision rate. It is nothing but Z prime into concentration of A2 into concentration of B2. So this is rate. So let us consider this is equation number 1. Now as per the rate law, so rate law, how you write the rate equation formula? As per the rate law, according to rate law equation, rate is equal to rate constant K into concentration of A2 into concentration of B2. That is equation number 2. Now compare equation 1 and equation number 2. So what is the difference? So rate, in the place of rate constant, this is there. So when by comparing equation 1 and 2, rate constant K, in the place of K, what is there? K is equal to P into e power or P into Z into e power minus EA by RT. Okay, so this is according to collision theory. So once again, this theory was proposed by Arrhenius, developed by Max Trout and William Lewis. According to this theory, all the chemical reactions takes place by the collisions between the reactant gaseous molecules, but all the collisions does not lead to the product formation. Only the fruitful collisions leads to the product formation. The collisions between the molecules which are having a minimum amount of energy, that collisions we call it as fruitful collisions. Okay, and the minimum amount of energy possessed by the reactant molecules to convert into reactants into products, that energy we call it as what? Threshold energy. And the energy that was possessed by the molecules at STP conditions is called normal energy. And the energy gap between the threshold energy to the normal energy is called activation energy. If the activation energy is lesser, then the rate of the reaction is higher. That means rate of the reaction and activation energy both are inversely proportional. But all the fruitful collisions, all the collisions does not lead to the product formation. They further reduced by their orientation. Only the collisions between the colliding molecules which are colliding in a proper orientation leads to the product formation. So overall, by considering all the above postulates, the rate of the reaction, rate is nothing but P, that is steric factor, orientation factor, into frequency factor F into collision rate. So from that, he finally given K is equal to P into Z into e power minus EA by RT. Arrhenius equation. So what is this equation and what is the importance of this equation? Arrhenius equation gives the effect of temperature on rate of the reaction. So this equation relates the effect of temperature on rate constant. Okay, on rate constant. And this equation, according to this, if you increase the temperature, what happens? The rate of the reaction generally increases. Why? Because most of the chemical reactions takes place at high temperature, and by increasing the temperature, their rate also will increase. Okay, so the rate of the reactions is directly proportional to what? Temperature. If you increase the temperature, the rate also will increase. What is the reason? See, let us consider. If you increase the temperature, what will happen? Then the number of effective collisions also increases. If number of effective or fruitful collisions increases, then more number of reactants are converting into products, then the rate will increase according to collision theory. So the rate of the reaction is directly proportional to temperature, because by increasing the temperature, number of effective collisions increases. If the number of effective collisions increases, more number of reactants are converting into products, so that the rate will increase. And usually in general, for every 10 degrees raise of temperature, the rate of reaction doubles for every 10 degrees rise of temperature. For example, at normal room temperature, rate is R. If a normal room temperature means 25 degrees. If we increase the temperature from 25 to 35, the rate will be doubled. 35 to 45, further doubled. So for every 10 degrees rise of temperature, the rate of the reaction doubles. Okay, sometimes tripled also. For few reactions, for every 10 degrees rise of temperature, it was tripled. So the ratio between the specific rates at two temperatures which are differ by 10 degrees Celsius. This is called temperature coefficient. Temperature coefficients. What is a temperature coefficient? It's nothing but the ratio between the specific rates at two different temperatures, and those two different temperatures are differed by 10 degrees. So from that we can write the formula, that is what? K2 by K1. K2 by K1 is equal to T plus 10 degrees by T degrees. Okay, the ratio between the specific rates at two temperatures which are differed by 10 degrees. That is why if first temperature is T degrees, next temperature T plus 10 degrees. They both are differed by 10 degrees. So the ratio between the specific rates which are at two temperatures which are differed by 10 degrees, this ratio we called as what? Temperature coefficient. And this is always be equal to 2. And I told you already, it is equal to 2. Sometimes it may be tripled. Okay, and Arrhenius, the scientist Arrhenius, gave the relation between rate constant K and activation energy. Okay, what is the formula? According to Arrhenius, rate constant K is nothing but K is equal to A into e power minus EA by RT. So this equation we call it as Arrhenius equation. K is equal to A into e power minus EA by RT. It's a relation between activation energy, temperature and rate constant. Now taking ln on both sides. Ln is nothing but logarithm. Take ln on both sides, then ln K is equal to ln A plus ln e power means this e exponential value will be gone. So minus EA by RT will come. Okay, ln k is equal to ln a minus ea by rt. See, this I am writing as ln k is equal to minus ea by rt plus ln a. This equation is like y is equal to mx plus c. Now, when you draw the graph between ln k versus 1 by t, ln k versus 1 by t. See, ln k is in y-axis, this is x-axis, and this is y-axis. On y-axis, ln k was there, on x-axis 1 by t is there. So, in the place of x, 1 by t. Then what is the slope? Minus ea by r. So, we are getting a straight line with a negative slope. So, where slope is equal to minus ea by r with an intercept of ln a. With an intercept of ln a. So, this is a graph when we draw between ln k versus 1 by t. Sometimes log. Now, same. You convert ln to log. So, that is ln is equal to 2.303 log. So, convert this 2.303 log k is equal to then minus ea by rt plus 2.303 log a. Okay, 2.303 log a. Now you bring 2.303 to this side, then log k is equal to minus ea by 2.303 rt, and this 2.303, this 2.303 will be cancelled. So finally log a will come. Okay, so in this case, when you draw the graph between log k versus 1 by t, so now when you draw the graph between log k versus 1 by t, it is also y is equal to mx plus c. So, but in the place of m, what is there? Minus ea by 2.303 r will come. So, we get the same straight line with a negative slope, that is minus ea by 2.303 r, and intercept is log a. So, these two graphs, they may ask you, so what is the slope when we draw the graph between ln k versus 1 by t or log k versus 1 by t? A negative or positive with an intercept. So, where a is nothing but Arrhenius factor, it's a constant value. Let us we apply this Arrhenius equation at two different temperatures. So, what is the equation? Ln k is equal to minus ea by rt plus ln a. That is the general equation. Now, at temperature T1, at the temperature T1, then ln K1, at T1 the rate condition will be K1, ln K1 is equal to minus EA by RT1 plus ln A. See, this is a constant, same for all. At two different temperatures also remains the same, and activation energy also remains the same. Gas constant R value also remains the same. That is why I am not changing these values. Now, at the temperature T2, ln K2 is equal to minus EA by RT2 plus ln A. This is the equation number 2. Now, subtract equation 1 from 2. So 2 minus 1. Equations 1 subtracting from 2. Then ln K2 minus ln K1 is equal to ln K2 minus ln K1 is equal to, see, this ln A minus ln A both will be cancelled. So remaining is what? Minus EA by RT2 minus of minus plus EA by RT1. This is a negative term, this is a positive term. You just write positive term first. And ln A minus ln B is nothing but ln A by B. So I am writing this as ln K2 by K1 is equal to, just interchange, EA by RT1 minus EA by RT2. In these two terms, EA by R value is common. You take the common term. then ln K2 by K1 is equal to EA by R into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. Okay, then ln K2 by K1 is equal to EA by R into T2 minus T1 by T1 T2. Suppose if you wanted to convert this line to log, then 2.303 log, then you bring 2.3032 to this side, then log K2 by K1 is equal to EA by 2.303 R into T2 minus T1 by T1 T2. So this is a equation that we use to calculate the activation energies by using the rate constants K1, K2 at the temperatures T1 and T2. So this equation is called what? Arrhenius equation. I hope you understood this concept. So with this we finish this topic. So in the next video we will continue the next chapter. Until then, take care. Bye.